So here's the little domestic A machine that I acquired 2 days ago, and it was pretty well frozen. I could barely turn the hand wheel. So these are the tools I used to clean it up. I used kerosene in a syringe to squirt into all the little joints and all the moving parts to clean out the gunky oil. I used Mars metal polish to get a nice shine. That was a rusty wheel, and it was a rusty faceplate under there. And now it's pretty shiny. I used brushes, Q-tips, tweezers, and a screwdriver to take the machine apart and get inside and get everything cleaned. And then I doused it all with some good old-fashioned Singer all-purpose sewing machine oil. And now it runs. Whisper quiet. Kind of hard to hold the camera and sew at the same time. That's the stitch. So here's how it's threaded. The thread is coming off the back of the spool. It's going underneath and behind this screw. There's a little bit of a felt pad, and I almost think it's a wooden disc behind there. And I went under and between them, and that is the tension. Then it went over the top of this, what looks like tension discs, but it's really just a pulley. And then it goes over here, and it went under this little tab so that it would float into that spot, and then up into the take-up lever and out through that hole. And then it comes around the other side, and it goes straight down the machine. And here's the tricky part. You have to make a loop of thread. You got to put it through that ring, and then you've got to hook it onto this. You can't do it so you can see it. So then it hooks behind this little metal hook here. You can see it's a hook. And once you've got that done, it can come straight down and go left to right through the needle. So I'll show you what it does while it's sewing. This one, you do not want the wheel to come toward you like almost every other machine. The white machine does not come toward you either. You want the wheel to go backwards, and the hand crank is on there to also go backwards. So you're operating them both in the same direction, away from you, and not like you do every other machine. And what's happening on this end, as I'm cranking it, watch this lever come in and out. So that's pulling, and the take-up lever is going up and down. It's kind of crazy. You want the needle all the way up. You want the take-up lever all the way up. And then you can lift this foot, and you can pull it off to the side to cut your threads. And you end up with a perfect, that's too much light. You end up with a perfect stitch. There we go, now you can see it. The green was the top, and white was the bottom, the bobbin. Now the bobbin is a little tiny hand-carved wooden bobbin inside a bullet race. And this bullet is not an open-ended bullet like all the other vibrating shuttles. This bullet has a closed end on it. And I'm going to show you how it works here. So you can see where the thread is. There's a couple of slices in this leaf spring. There's a slice here and a slice here in this leaf spring. Now to open up the tab, there's a little place you can grab here and lift, or under there. And once you've lifted it, it unlocks and it slides open like that to one side. And you can see how the thread is threaded over one loop, over the other loop, and it goes over the leaf spring. Now here's the little bobbin in here. Isn't that funny? It's like a hand-carved little tiny wooden bobbin. Wooden long bobbin. And one end is super pointy and sticks out a long way, and the other end is a little nubbier, and so that it fits in the end where you wind the bobbins. So those metal bobbin, long bobbins you find will not fit this machine. So I think I'm stuck with just one bobbin forever. So the first thing you do when you're threading it is you have to take the end of your thread and you have to stick it inside and have it come out that slice that's there. So that's a little tricky. There it is. And then you have to go under that tab. And then the next one, I come from in here, it's easier for me. You go under the next little tab in the leaf spring. You got to get it under that little needle. There we go. But it's not supposed to be under the leaf spring, it's supposed to be on top of it, so I'm just going to put it back out here, like that. Once you get it in there like that, you make sure it's rolled tight, and you can put it in the little cage, and make sure it pulls, and you can close the end until it locks in. I want to make sure this is going to pull, and it does, so we're good to go. We're going to lay it so that the leaf spring is on top, and that flat edge is facing to the left. And we're just going to put it in there, and it lays flat down in there. And that's how you load it. Try to pick up this thread without holding the end of my thread there. Here, I'm going to hold it with a bottle. So I'm just going to hold the end of my thread with my little oil bottle there, because I can only have one hand to crank and one hand to hold the camera. And I go down once, up once, and now when I pull on that thread, the bobbin thread comes right up, just like it's supposed to. And then I can put the door back on it. And now it's going to stitch like a dream. I just did the green one. And there's the white bottom. Perfect every time. Wow. So that's the domestic A. And I'm dating it at 1876 to 1880. I'm not sure exactly, but somewhere in there. 1876 to 1880.